The line that we're trying right now is between 9B plus,
Wow.
9C, but there's also like an extension to it, and you could start even lower, which could potentially make it like a 10B or something like that. Literally 516, like a tangible 516 that
Dude.
exists, that's doable. It all comes down to that. You're like, all right, here's a 15C. Let's add another V13 boulder on top of that, and suddenly you have like the next level, right? And so it comes down to finding those routes. But as far as like human potential, I feel like there's a lot to continue to explore with that, I think.
This cave that you're in, it looks like crazy steep. Do you have a sense for how steep that wall is?
Yeah, it's probably like about 50 to 60 degrees
Wow.
overhanging. So I bolted this line a few years ago in the summertime. It's something I'd always looked at and always been, kind of intrigued by. Of course, I've got like multiple balls in the air all the time. But I always wanted to go back and actually, I bolted it, I did the moves, but I never like put time into it. I was working on LeBlanc and Perfecto Mundo a lot over the last couple of years. And I mean, for me, it really, I'm just guided by my sensations about what feels good, especially with these routes that I've tried for so many different years. I really want to come with a fresh perspective every time. And, you want to approach something, you see it, and you get inspired, right? That's the telltale sign. Like that's how it all comes together. You need to be inspired to bring something like that to life.
Absolutely.
And obviously, when you start going through that whole process of failing and trying over and over again, it can get frustrating, and you can lose some of that inspiration. For me, like the year before, I was able to keep kind of progressing. Felt like I had these like micro progressions every time I went out, and it just kept the ball rolling as far as like it kept me inspired. It somehow felt like it continued to be fresh and genuine in that sense. It's not like I'm doing this because I told myself 10 years ago that I want to do it. It's more like, no, I'm here in the present moment and I still want to do this. You have to kind of reinvent your psyche every time you go out climbing.
Hell yeah.
Um, and I think that's really important. And so it kept going in that direction. So it was cool. I'm just going to keep going and keep following that. And that's how I've always climbed. And I think that's one of the reasons why I'm still so psyched on climbing is that I've never forced myself into this position where I'm just get sick of it. But so knowing when to pull back is important. And I had 2 days on LeBlanc in Oleana where it was hot. Like I just felt the holds felt small and sharp, and I just was like felt like I was forcing it, and I was just like, all right, time to shift gears, do something else, and that's when I started trying this route in Santa Ana with Maddie Hong, and it was such a great antidote to that.
All right, y'all. Just want to take a quick second here to talk about how I'm training my fingers and preparing my skin to perform better when I get outside. And that is by using this stone hanger by Nature Climbing. Check that out. That is a real granite edge that they put right there next to the wooden edges. Why would I use a granite edge when I'm training my fingers? Well, the friction's better. So I can lift more as I'm training than if I were using wood or plastic. And then also, it conditions the skin. So I feel better when I get outside on real rock. Emil Abrahamson introduced me to this incredible company straight out of Denmark, and I'm so glad he did. Look, it's good enough for Alex Honnold right there as well. And I have been using the stone hanger as well as their Stoke board that has a granite edge on the top for the last few months here, and my skin and my fingers feel incredible. Plus, these implements are just gorgeous. They're made from sustainable, beautiful materials, and they are built to last. You will have these in your kit for your entire climbing life. And if you use code STRUGGLE right down there, you're going to get 20% off the stone hanger, the Stoke board, the hangboard, everything else that they make over there at Nature Climbing. I truly love everything they make so much. Hit that link and let's get back to the video.
Oleana, I've been there so many times over so many years. It's literally the LeBlanc is right next to La Douradura. So it just feels like, oh, here I am again, another time. You're just like
Right.
repeating the same thing. And being at Santa Ana was like a completely new place, a new crag, new location, new route. So like everything is fresh and kind of getting into that vibe of like, discovering something, that whole process of like when you first are like deciphering the movements and you're not even thinking about sending it, you're just kind of unlocking the sequences and it's just the very playful, joyful part of climbing. It's probably the funnest part compared to when you're actually trying to like seal the deal and it feels like it's just hard work, right? On top of that, I had a great partner with Maddie to just like work on that together and yeah, just turned into such a great season. Of course, it didn't end with Ascend, but um, it won't be the first or the last, that's for sure, in that way. But definitely we progressed a lot, and ultimately that's kind of like that's the goal is to feel like you're progressing. And one of the really cool things compared to LeBlanc, which is like a face climb, it's super bouldery, super small holds. Santa Ana, it's this steep. The climbing is very physical. There's a couple of V13 sequences on the route, but still the climbing is very physical. It's like very full body. It's very like almost like cardio, very athletic, and it's a very satisfying feel when we go out there and climb. Actually felt like we got a lot of climbing in. Sometimes when you're going to go try a project and you're just like figuring out beta, hanging on the bolts, you get to the end of the day, you're like, I didn't really climb that much actually. It was more just like figuring stuff out. And yeah, particularly that style of climbing is something that's that steep. It's very physical. You're working, your arms and your shoulders and your core. And I don't have any experience with this actually, but it's more like a HIIT workout or something. You're just like this full
Right.
body exercise, and so like your endorphins and everything. It's just very satisfying, and it was just very refreshing to climb on like nice, relatively like good holds versus like these gnarly, sharp, tweaky holds. And so it's still fun. It's fun to be able to do both. Ultimately, you have to be able to like mix it up. Of course, there's like a time when you have to like bear down and do the hard work, but you also need to know when it's time to switch gears. And it's all about being able to read your motivation, how you're feeling, and that's really the guide. It feels a little bit superficial to base it on how much fun am I having, because at a certain point to achieve your highest levels, it's not going to be fun. It's going to be hard work. But I think it's more like inspiration, I think is a better word to describe it, because you have to see it and be like, wow, like that's amazing. I need to get better so that I can climb this one day. If you're missing that, then like you're screwed. So if you're better off switching gears, trying something else, mixing it up, whether that's a different style of climbing, or it could also be taking a break completely from climbing for a week or two or whatever you need. Ultimately, I've never forced myself to go
Mm.
climb, and that's part of what I would also attribute to my longevity. Climbing is this activity that's accompanied me through life, but it's always been a choice to go do it rather than this kind of blind, unquestioned thing like this is what I do. No, it's like it has to come from the heart every time you do it. Otherwise, it's you're definitely not going to achieve the results that you're looking for, anyways.
Hey, if you like this video, check out these here because they are banger, and also subscribe to the channel because I put out a fresh video every single week with one of the best rock climbers in the world. Let's go.